Hey there poetry pals, welcome back to another video. This week I am sorting out my book collection. This room has looked like a modern art installation for long enough. And so I am going to sort through my entire book collection. I'm going to be donating the stuff I don't want or need. I think need is a strong word, but I'll be donating everything that I won't be keeping. I will also be returning the books that I have been loaned and just kept. And yeah, along the way I'm also going to sort it into piles of read and not read, and also partially read. This doesn't mean did not finish, but it just means this is an anthology, or this is a poetry collection that I've dipped in and out of, or a short story collection where I've read a couple of the stories. But before we go any further, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on notifications. The engagement really helps small creators like me get found, and you'll enjoy following me because I do videos about all things poetry and books. So go ahead and subscribe, it would be wonderful. And while we're on the subject, why don't you follow me on social media? I am at Josie Alford Poet on all the things. Right, let's get going, shall we? I think I'm going to start with read, not read, not completely read.
Okay, so this section, I was just putting away all of my stuff and sorting them into books of read, unread, and not quite finished. For this one, I just wanted to sort through them into piles without actually deciding to donate any of them just yet. This is just an opportunity for me to reacquaint myself with the books that I own.
Tea break. So these were my piles. I just managed to catch this one falling over, but basically read, partially read, not read yet. The red one has only just gone out the top of the frame. The red one literally stops at the top of the frame here, and the partially read, both piles were about this high. So yeah, it's fairly equal. The red was the highest pile, which I'm pleased about. But yeah, there you go. So the next set of piles I'm going to do is I'm going to sort them into poetry, fiction, and non-fiction, so we can see what the piles are. I'm going to tell you now, I think poetry is going to be the smallest pile, but it's going to be probably the biggest or the second biggest in terms of numbers of books, but obviously poetry books are smaller, so it's going to look like a smaller pile, but we'll see. Let's go. Let's go. For this round, I will be listening to Dolly Parton's new novel, Run Rose Run.
By the way, I'm sorry that my voiceovers sound so echoey. I'm currently staying in my godmother's villa, and it's very echoey, and it is far too hot to sit under a duvet in a closet like a true podcaster. So you're just going to have to put up with the fact it sounds like I'm in a church. Anyway, I cannot recommend Dolly Parton's book enough. I really enjoyed it. I especially like the audiobook because Dolly Parton actually voices one of the characters, so you should definitely listen to that. So yeah, this is me just sorting it out into poetry, fiction and non-fiction. I'm actually presently surprised about how the ratios turned out.
Ta-da! Done. I've organised my book collection now into fiction, poetry. This small pile is sort of plays, but also it's anthologies of poetry and plays. So I thought that was sort of poetry related or poetry adjacent. And then we've got the non-fiction here. These are all of the physical things that my poetry has been published in so far. It is a pleasing height. So, next step, move the bookcases in here, clean the bookcases, transfer my book collection to this, whilst also in that process will be the Marie Kondoing of, does this book bring me joy? Am I going to keep it? Or am I going to donate it or gift it to someone? No books will be thrown away in the process of this thing. All right, let's go. My main specificities on how I'm going to decide whether to keep books or donate books or give books is, if I have read it, will I read it again? Do I want to keep it? If I haven't read it, the question is, will I? Am I going to read it? Then it's a question of, okay, if those things aren't true, then I'm going to donate it. It's not just do I want to, it's will I? And then the other question is, does this belong to me, or did someone lend this to me years ago that I now need to give back? Which will be, that's the harder question. Stop chatting, Josie. Let's just do it. Coffee. The first book I picked up was Emma by Jane Austen. And I was commissioned to write a poem inspired by this book for a show. And I didn't even read the whole thing. But it is the commission that caused me to write the poem in which I proposed to my partner, who is now my husband, which is nice. But do I need to keep the book? I don't think I read beyond half of it. It really is a gorgeous little scuffed little book, this, but the answer is no, I'm not keeping it. First book picking up and I'm donating it.
Okay, so it turns out that I decided that I wanted to talk through every single book decision I made. And I just want to be clear, I'm not putting all of that on YouTube because this video would literally be hours long. Doing all of this sorting took me all day to sort out. So you might see me talking to the camera about my decision making. I'm not going to share it all. I wanted to share the Jane Austen one because that's a cute story about proposing. If you're interested in seeing the full thinking behind which books I kept and which books I didn't, by all means comment down below, and if enough people want it, I'll release it as a separate video. But genuinely, it's a good couple hours long, so you'd have to be really interested for that, and I'm just not sure you are. I sort my fiction by alphabetical order by surname, mainly because I'm used to having so many books that I want to lend to people, so I sort it out by author surname so that I can easily find the book I need to give to people. Yeah, how do you guys sort it? I'm interested. How many people truly order it in terms of colour and size? Surely, it feels like everyone on Instagram does, but I understand that that's Instagram, so yeah. So I started with just fiction, and this is me sorting it. And I'm really shocked that I managed to donate so many fiction books. I think I donated about 40 or 50 books in the end. Thank you to those of my followers who took me up on it. Yeah.
I can't believe I've got my fiction down to fitting on 4 shelves. A poetry sorting montage. Let's go. I can already tell you right now, I'm not going to be throwing anything away. I love poetry. Well, maybe... no. Yes. No.
Reader, it is fair to say that I did not end up donating many poetry books, other than the ones that have been lent to me, which I returned. Thank you, Danny, aka Crafty, and Cal the Poet, my main poetry dealers. The only ones that I ended up donating were the For Example book, which is arguably the only negative review I've ever done on this channel. I will link the video so you can watch that. And then the only other ones I donated was a duplicate copy, because during my A-levels doing English literature, they wanted us to have double copies of our poetry so that you could use one to annotate and one for exam stuff. So I kept my annotated version. It's really interesting actually looking back on the annotations I made on poems, goodness me, like 12 years ago, and how my methodology of analysing poems has changed. Very, very interesting. So yeah, this shelf, my poetry, just sort of straight collections, took up the top 2 shelves, or maybe 1.5, and then at the bottom I kept all of my pamphlets which don't have the titles. So all of my small pamphlets that don't have the titles on the spines came at the end of my full collections, and then it was magazines and poetry publications like that, and then anthologies. And then finally, the last section to sort out was my non-fiction. This includes obviously biographies, other non-fiction books, as well as sort of reference books like dictionaries, textbooks, and that sort of thing. On the shelves that are empty at the bottom, there are actually the shelves that you can see that are empty, and then another set underneath that. On the shelves that you can see went my notebooks. One side was the notebooks that still had space, and the other side was the notebooks that are full. I think realistically I need to have a look at the notebooks that are full and decide which ones I want to keep. But there's a part of me that, what if one day I'm famous after I'm dead and someone needs to read my shopping list? So I want to keep it. This is the problem with being a book hoarder. And then on the bottom shelf, I kept a load of paperwork as well as Trey's books, which included a lot of big, bulky photography and design books. So let me know if these sound interesting, and how do you sort your bookcases out?
So here are some photos of the books that I ended up getting rid of. I posted these videos on my social media and was able to let my followers pick if they wanted any, and I'd send it to them, and bonus points if they could cover postage as well. So yeah, the rest of them I donated to a charity shop, and yeah, that's my sorted book collection. What I want to know is, do you think I have an excessive book collection? My husband seems to think so, but I'm not sure. And also, would you have been able to throw away as many books? I'm quite proud of myself, if I'm honest. So that's it for this week's video. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I make videos about all things poetry and book nerdery, and the engagement really helps small creators like me get found. And while we're on the subject, why don't you follow me on social media? I am at Josie Alford Poet on all the things. You might have noticed I'm in slightly different surroundings to normal. That is because I am currently 1 month in to traveling around the world for 8 months. So these videos will be coming to you from various locations, including now, which is in my cousin's villa in Portugal. So if you want to follow me on social media to catch up with what I'm doing there, please do. And yeah, to support the channel, you can buy me a coffee or join me on Patreon. The links to do both are in the description down below. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you all next week. Bye.